Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Living Life at Life U. I am your host, Dr. Veronica Garcia, and today we have a very special story, a very interesting story, interesting background with one of our own students of the chiropractic program, Mr. Dustin. Hi, welcome. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for taking some time of your really busy schedule because the seventh quarter is one of the busiest. 5, 6, 7, it's a blur in my mind. So thank you for spending some time with us.
Absolutely.
How's it been? What week are you in right now?
Finishing up week 2.
Okay. So you're still kind of, I guess, starting your engines for midterms and things like that, eh?
I'm waking up from summer break, getting back into the swing of things. But
I love it. So Dustin, you do have a unique background that it's outside of like the common Life University student or a graduate student. Talk to us about your background. You are military. You're a military veteran. Thank you for your service. Tell me about you.
Okay. Well, I grew up in Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky to be specific, and then graduated from the University of Kentucky. After that, I decided that I wanted to enlist because I still had this drive to serve my country. So I enlisted in 2011. I spent 9 years in the Marine Corps as an amphibious reconnaissance Marine.
Wow.
And brief synopsis of that is small teams doing special things behind enemy lines, gathering information to develop and shape the battlefield for the commander so he can make educated, informed decisions.
Wow.
So we did anything from skydiving to scuba diving to a lot of things. So it was a lot of fun.
That's exciting.
Yeah. So that's the gist of it. Yeah.
And when did you retire?
I retired and got medically retired in 2019. I sustained some injuries, two of which were to my left eye. So it left me blind in my left eye.
Okay.
And I decided that it was better for myself and my family to move on from there.
And how did you come about chiropractic then?
So believe it or not, I'd never received a chiropractic adjustment until around 2016, 2017 while I was active duty.
Okay.
I started introducing it into naval medicine. And so I tried acupuncture, physical therapy, massages, everything for chronic low back pain because jumping out of airplanes and then landing incorrectly can have an impact on your back.
Does it though?
Yes. So when they introduced me to similar to Cox flexion and distraction technique through chiropractic, I was better within 3 to 4 weeks.
Wow.
And it became a weekly thing. And it took me from, I would say, like 50% to almost like 110%. Wow. And 2 of my accolades that I won while I was still active duty and transitioning out was a thing called the Amphibious Reconnaissance Challenge. It's a 2-man team over 12 to 16 hours, ranging from 25 to 30 miles, carrying 50 to 150 pounds.
Wow.
At times. And without chiropractic care and how that influenced me, I wouldn't have been able to make it through it. And then I continued that when I got outside to the VA. And it has helped me tremendously, to be able to stay mobile and active in the things that I love, which one of my main things is running. So anywhere from miles to 100 miles. So that's one of the things that I really enjoy.
That's really interesting. And when did you decide that maybe chiropractic was then part of the things that you wanted to do in life?
It's one of those cliche questions that I got from a chiropractor that I was seeing at the time. I guess it was late 2019. And she knew of my background. And moving to Georgia from San Diego, I didn't know that Life University was here. I just had a lifelong friend and his family that lived in Woodstock. And they talked about how great the school system was. I was like, let's give it a try. So having this conversation with my chiropractor at the time, she said, "You ever considered, being a chiropractor?" And I was like, "No," but she knew how much it had impacted my life.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Well, we have one of the world's best chiropractic schools right here in Georgia." I had no idea. So I looked into it, after working for a year or so, and I just felt unfulfilled what I was doing. And so I looked into it. My wife, with the support from her and my kids, I applied, and it had been 15 years since I'd done my undergrad.
Wow.
So I came down, I saw the campus, and it's one of those things that, people talk about. It felt like home. And so after going through the orientation, meeting some very impactful people like Dr. LaMarche and some of the other students that were in, 4th and 5th quarter at the time, I knew this was the right place. So I went through the process and got accepted and started in January of, 2022.
Wow. What a beautiful journey. What were you doing before? You mentioned you weren't fulfilled.
So part of it was, was transitioning out. That's a really hard thing for a lot of military veterans. So one two things that really helped me out was one, getting involved with foundations, one of which was the Simplify in America's Fund Foundation. So they have a thing called Recovery Through Sport. So as I said, I'm an avid runner. So that's my yoga. A lot of people hate running, but for me, it just puts me in a happy place.
Yeah.
And so I did that. And then I also needed a transition job to help with support my family, put a roof over their head, et cetera. So I started selling technology to the government through a program that helped me transition out. And I tried to do that for my first 2 quarters while I was here and realized that traveling and trying to go through Biochem 1 and 2
don't go hand in hand.
Nope. So I went full-fledged into the chiropractic program, and I commute. I get up every day at 5 a.m. I leave my house at 6 because it's about 40 miles, and I'm here by 7. And then sometimes I don't go home till 7:00 p.m. So just like in the military, it's a sacrifice, but my wife is understanding of that, and my kids are as well, and they know that the end goal is going to be excellent. So
wow, what a interesting journey on a daily basis for you. Absolutely. Thank you. That's amazing. And congratulations for sticking to it, because you're already halfway through the program. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Talk to me about what was your undergrad in?
Kinesiology.
So a little bit to do with a lot of it to do with the body, and a little bit of interlapping with anatomy. But how has it been different having that undergraduate in kinesiology and kind of starting 15 years later a doctorate degree in chiropractic?
So I wouldn't say the material is that much different. It's
right.
how it's being delivered, and then how. Just the pace alone, as you know, undergrad, 12, 18 hours, credit hours is a lot. And I was a student athlete as well. So I knew how to kind of balance it on that load, but coming here in that first and second quarter was a real smack in the face. I could go out and sit in a bush for 2 weeks and be on little food and little sleep, or go run 100 miles and not be as tired as I was those first 2 quarters.
Wow. Because
it's just so mentally stressful. And then again, that 15-year gap. Yeah, I'd gone through some schooling while I was active duty, but it wasn't the same. You didn't have the continuous need to study and feel like you're missing out on something, because you wanted to perform at your optimal performance. So that was the biggest thing for me, after a 15-year hiatus, so to speak, of formal schooling.
It's definitely a change, quite a change. That's amazing. Talk to me about what is your goal within chiropractic as your career.
Okay. Well, that has been the biggest question for me across the board. And because chiropractic, I didn't get blessed with chiropractic till later on in my life, because I was 30, 31 when I first was adjusted. So I didn't grow up with a technique. I didn't grow up, as a chiropractic baby, anything like that. So I haven't given myself to one technique, to one discipline. But at the same time, that kind of makes it hard to decide on which clubs I want to go to, which seminars I want to go to. But it allows me to be hungry and pick from different ones, that I like. And having 2 young kids, one's 10 and one is 7, I'm really, really interested in getting into pediatrics. Yeah. So I've been shadowing since quarter 1, different offices, from sports medicine to applied kinesiology to pediatrics specific. And I find, both based on the doctor and then the way that they practice and then the surrounding areas, things that I like and things that I really don't like, which are both helpful. So to answer your question, I have 2 years, a year and a half really to figure it out. And at the end of the day, I told my wife, and we've talked a lot about this, it's really quality of life for us based on that, and where we're going to be happy. I can be happy talking to anyone. And then with chiropractic, I know that I'm going to be giving back in an amazing way. So the type of population, the type of technique, I don't think that's as important right now, but I'll figure it out along the way.
That's amazing. You just hit on a huge point of when students ask me what's one piece of advice that you have. I always say, take off your visors, your gringolas in Spanish, right? Take off what the horses use on their races so that they can't look to the side, because there's so much beauty in chiropractic that you have no idea you're around it and you're surrounded by until you gave it a chance. Okay. So that is beautiful. And definitely there's so many student clubs on campus and so many just opportunities for shadowing. So congratulations for taking advantage of that, because a lot of students come in on quarter 10, quarter 11, quarter 12. Hey, what can I do to learn this thing? And I'm like, oh my gosh, if you would have asked this question quarter 2, quarter 3, heck, pre-DC at that point, right? It would shape us so differently.
Absolutely.
So congratulations on taking advantage of that. Talk to me about, maybe, would you be interested in going into the Chiropractic Veterans Program? I know there's a program for it. Are you aware of it? And if so, would you be interested in that?
I'm not aware of it. Mm-hmm. I know that there needs to be more chiropractors in the military and to supply our veteran community, because a lot of it is the lack of knowledge of knowing that it exists. Right. But I know how much impact it has prior to opioids and prior to surgery. Mm-hmm. And it's a touchy subject for me, because I've had a lot of friends that if they'd only known prior to, things would have been different.
Yeah.
So, no, I don't know of it. I'd love to hear more about it and see how I could potentially get involved, and if it aligns with how things are going.
Yeah, I would love to chat with you also to just give you some resources on people that you can shadow that are in the state of Georgia, because it is a beautiful program that you can go through. And as a student, if you're interested in that, it is an option. Just get educated, reach out, ask the questions, because it's an option. Awesome. Good luck. Good luck on getting into student clinic. You're starting student clinic soon, right?
Right now, yeah.
Oh,
student clinic orientation right now.
That's awesome. And which means that you're soon going to be accepting patients from the community, right? That's exciting. So if you are in the state of Georgia, and if you are specifically in greater Atlanta area, Kennesaw, Woodstock, we are just short drive away, and you would like him to be your student clinician, please reach out, right?
Yes.
Absolutely. So anything else you would like to share with the community? Any feedback for the university?
Absolutely. So for all the student veterans out there, and those who aren't, if you want to know what it was like to be in the military, or how it is to be a veteran student, so to speak, or a student veteran, feel free to reach out and ask. A lot of us, we may look a certain way or carry ourselves a certain way, but we're more approachable than you think. Mm-hmm. A lot of it is just the transition of going from military to student life, and it's different. Mm-hmm. But we're here for the same purpose as everybody else, is to serve abundantly, and selflessly is the biggest thing. And then a shameless plug here, and I didn't tell you before I came in here, I'm also the Georgia Club president.
Okay.
So as far as networking and asking the questions and getting involved with local chiropractors, that's one of the things that we're big on. So we're not a technique specific club. We're low obligation, but a lot of the doctors in the area, they want to open up their offices and show you what it's about. Whether, it's how you run a successful business or how you feel about a certain technique. Mm-hmm. So if you're interested in that, let me know as well.
That's awesome. Congratulations. You're definitely doing all the right steps to absolute greatness. So thank you for taking an opportunity, for believing in yourself and kind of jumping head and chest first into this beautiful world of chiropractic, and for giving it a chance.
Absolutely.
And thank you to your family, to your wife, and to your children for supporting you through this. Because
without them.
Exactly. Support system in a program like this, it is key and essential for this. Mm-hmm. So thank you. Good luck on the rest of your quarter. Good luck in student clinic. Best of luck in just finding that passion and what it will mean to be a chiropractor in the field. And if you have any questions, always let me know.
Okay.
And thank you guys for joining us on another episode of Living Life, a Life U.
Thanks.